practice final 2. I'm trying to break it down into manageable sections where y'all can take a test, watch the videos, and see how well you're doing. So it says, find the exact value of the given expression, the secant of negative 5 pi. So negative means we go around this way. So negative 1 pi, negative 2 pi, negative 3 pi, negative 4 pi, negative 5 pi. I end up over here. My coordinates are cosine comma sine, or negative 1 comma 0, and secant is 1 over the cosine. So if I have 1 over negative 1, my secant of negative 5 pi is just negative 1. The next one, these are probably one of the more challenging problems. We have a calculator problem. It wants all of the answers between 0 and 2 pi. What's the first thing I do when I see this? I make sure my calculator is in radian mode. So it's in radians. I'm going to find my first angle just by typing sine inverse of 0.2, and I hit enter. So sine inverse of 0.2 gives me theta. My first theta is 0.20. That means it's right here, right? 0.20. Where else is my sign positive? It's over here in quadrant 2. So my first answer is going to be 0.20. My second answer is I move my reference angle over here to quadrant 2, and I have to figure out what this angle is. So if this reference angle is 0.2, this reference angle is also 0.2, so I'm going to do pi minus 0.2, because this is pi, to figure out what that second angle is. So pi minus my answer, and I get 2.94. It's all about moving the reference angle to the right quadrant. The next one, it says use the half angle formulas to find the exact value of the trigonometric function. When I see half angle, I automatically multiply it by 2. So the sine of 22.5 equals the sine of 45 over 2, right? Because that equals 25. So now I use this formula, plus or minus 1 minus the cosine of theta over 2. Well, I'm going to use the plus sign here because my sine of 22.5 is positive. That's a quadrant 1 angle. They're all positive. So I pick my plus, then I do 1 minus. What is my cosine of theta? It's either 1 over the square root of 2, or if I rationalize the denominator, it's the square root of 2 over 2. So I put square root of 2 over 2, and then everything over 2. Now I need to combine my numerator. So I get 2 minus the square root of 2 over 2, all over 2. I just made my 1 2 over 2. Then, now I need to combine my fractions. So if I divide by 2, it's the same as multiplying by 1/2. I get 2 minus the square root of 2 over 4. I can take the square root of 4, and they want you to take the square root of 4 because they will tell you this is not complete. So it's the square root of 2 minus the square root of 2 all over 2. Next one, find the exact value of the cosine inverse negative square root of 3 over 2. Well, my cosine inverse, negative 3 over the square root of 2, and I believe this one was in radians, so we'll give it to them in radians. My cosine inverses that are negative are in quadrant 2. My cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So this here, my reference angle, is a 30-degree angle, or a pi over 6 angle. So what is this angle here? It's 5 pi over 6. Here, find the exact value of the expression. Do not use a calculator. The secant of pi over 3 plus 6 times the cosecant of pi over 6. Pi over 3 is 60. So my secant of 60 is going to be hypotenuse over adjacent. So 2 over 1 plus 6 times the cosecant of pi over 6. Well, 30 is pi over 6, and my cosecant is hypotenuse over opposite, so 6 times 2. So I get 2 plus 12, it's 14. Last one, this is a multiple choice one, but just draw the angle of 240. You know it's going to be down here, because here I get to 180. I have to go 60 past 180. It's right here. It's multiple choice, but just be careful. Okay, next video is practice final 2, the second half.